hang up on the show, okay? I know you heard it.
The saddles aren't very big around. First to bump around our area. So you got to come closer together.
Yeah, look at that caboose bus bar. That's fun.
For the past 2 miles or so, we've been traveling through the heart of what is popularly known as the Dutch country, fertile farmland of the Plain Folks, the Mennonites, the Dunkers, and the Amish. Within a 20-mile radius of us are more than 17,000 Amish families who live a very quiet and peaceful life of deep religious devotion, much the same as our forefathers did when they came here from Germany and Switzerland nearly 3 centuries.
They got the new one. They can go up to 300 miles an hour, but they go high as 120, 25.
Sorry, Dave. And you won't finish, honey?
In Europe.
Finish? There's a train coming towards us. We're going to be in the forward car going back now.
Right here? Coming by.
Well, they have.
You want the rest of the cookie, Dave?
The rest is yours.
Thanks a lot. Well, right there is, aren't you together?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you share a menu? Let them look at the menu? Okay.
I want to know noodles and a small bag of pepper.
Oh, okay. I thought you three were together. We're not going to say
Just as a little review first, the wheel alignment of an engine tells you what type of an engine it is. For instance, this is an M engine. If you look up on the boilerplate, you see it says M1B. Well, all M engines have 4 pilot wheels. That's what guides it down the track. 8 drive wheels. 2 trailing wheels. Trailing wheels hold up your firebox. Right? Now, because this engine is 96.5 feet long, and the way the Pennsylvania Railroad built their tracks with the curves the way they are, you notice that we have a little rib on here that holds it on to the rail. Well, in here, and here you don't have that, because you can see as it goes around the bend, if you had that, it would straighten out the track.
Yeah.
So they leave that off. About an hour and a half to 2 hours before they're going to take the engine out, they build a fire in the firebox, get it nice and hot. They heat the water that goes through your boiler and in through the pipes, and the dry steam goes to your steam dome, which is here in the back. When the engineer wants to go, he opens the throttle. The steam would go down to the piston on this side and the piston on the other side, and it would drive your rods, which drive the wheels. In your front dome, you'll see 2 pipes coming out on this side, and they go to the front of the wheel. They'll let a little sand out, and then they would get better traction. Now, naturally, they couldn't let sand here on the curve, but when it's straight. So, if you see 4 pilot wheels, and you see the sand going to the front, it generally means it's a passenger engine. From here, about out to here, and about that high is a ton of coal. So 31 of those. 22,900 gallons of water. When this is fully loaded with water and coal, it weighs more than the engine. because you use more water
So it's got
than you
six-wheel
do
trucks
coal.
on it.
You see we have a water scoop on our tender. So if you look underneath, you see that piece of metal hanging down?
Mm-hmm.
See right in here, folks? Hey, prearranged areas along the track to put a water trough. The water trough is generally from 1,500 to 2,200 feet, and it's filled with water. The train would come along, would drop the water scoop down into the water. Most of the time, let's say the engine is doing about 70 miles an hour. A lot of times they'll slow down to maybe 35 or 40. And the water scoop goes down, the centrifugal force brings the water in, fills up the tender, they lift the water scoop up at 70 miles an hour, down the rear axle, and it's really metal on metal. So they would fill this with oil, put rags or hemp in there, and as it went around, it would lubricate it. The gentleman in the back would be looking for smoke because this was too hot. Okay? After the Second World War, when they really perfected the ball bearings, they put a triangular piece of metal with ball bearings in there, and then they packed it with grease. So you'll no longer see this cover. Okay, so any of the ones you see with a cover, it's prior to the Second World War. Anything without a cover, it's after the Second World War. This design, this is a stainless steel car. It holds 89 passengers. It does 80 miles an hour. It's powered by two 275 horsepower diesel engines. Generally, you go from a diesel engine down to a little electric motor which powers the wheels. This has a direct drive off of the motor down to the wheels. During the Second World War, they perfected the transmission in our tanks. And that's what you have in here, tank transmissions. It's a DD1, and this is two electric locomotives. In 1910, when the Pennsylvania Railroad wanted to bring their customers right into Penn Station in New York, they developed a Manhattan Transfer, which is a station on the New Jersey side through a tunnel and then over to Penn Station. They couldn't take a steam engine through that tunnel, else they would have killed everyone with the steam and the smoke. So they developed these two electric locomotives. Each locomotive, 3936, has a 2,000 horsepower motor. 3937 has a 2,000 horsepower motor, and it runs on 650 volts DC. This particular engine, which is also an E engine, you remember 460 was an E. Wheel alignment is 442. This has a little different makeup, so this is an E2. This sets the world speed record for steam at 127.1 miles an hour. Okay, this particular engine has 84-inch wheels. That's why I can get all that speed. And if you want to walk over and stand next to it, see from here you can't really visualize just how big a wheel could be.